still trying to figure out who I am after being a mom. Because I know I am a mom to my kids, but I'm more than just their mother.
Yes.
So what does that look like now?
There is a new mindset for me, especially right now in this country. Some things have shifted. And taking a moment to really look inward for all of us, I think is so important. I haven't had a hot flash so far while we've been talking. That's an accomplishment.
So
Yeah.
speaking of hot flashes, I am potentially perimenopausal, so going through that process.
Hey. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Melanated Midlife Podcast. I am Dr. Akila Willery, and I am joined this week. I'm going to say special guest, but I feel like all my guests are special. But the special because Dr. Chelsea Davis-Bibb is here with me, and I'm going to just be transparent that we've been trying to work this out for months.
Long time.
We were determined to get together in the same space and have you talk about your journey. So before anybody comes for Chelsea and her skincare routine, no, she is not a midlifer. She is very much in her prime, so let's get that out of the way. But still, I'm glad you're here to share some lessons because even as a midlifer and a lot of midlifers that are in the following in the community, there's some lessons that we can still teach each other as Black women. And I'm gonna say the type A overachiever and creative person, I have admired you for a very long time, and we've known each other from our former lives, working in the same school district. But there are things that, and just, for real, I want to make sure that Black women get the credit and all of the love that is due to them right now. So thank you, Dr. Chelsea Bibb, for being here.
Yeah, I appreciate your kind words and thank you for having me.
Heck yeah. I mean, you're doing me a favor, check, you know. So before we get into all the stories, all the lessons, tell everybody a little bit about your background and what you got going on.
Yeah, let's see. It's a lot. Where do I start?
Let's see. Let's go from where you are, where you've been since we were last working together.
Okay, so I have been an English professor at Lone Star College. I just finished my 7th year there. I'm currently the interim department chair for our ESOL department. So I have been doing that, and that has been keeping me busy. And, writing books and juggling kids and trying to have somewhat of a social life.
Yeah. So the mom hat, the wife hat, the professor hat, and I didn't even know about the department chair hat.
Yes.
Okay. So we're adding to that pile.
It's only for a short-term period. I filled in for a lady who went on sabbatical, and so she's coming back. But the experience has been incredible. Learning new things, seeing I can handle different tasks, challenges that come up. So it definitely put me out of my comfort zone, so to speak.
Yeah, and I look at where you are right now in life and comparing it to my own. And I always make the distinction between the hustle phase of our lives where you are doing all the things. And when we first sat down, you talked about where your daughter's activity, was it today? I think you said, tell me a little bit more about that.
Today, my son had soccer. It was his last soccer game. And then we went to a birthday party. And literally, we were just in Webster, Texas yesterday, so we drove back in this morning. So I've had a full day already, and what time is it? It's 2:30.
Right. Because, I mean, that's just it. With that hustle phase, all of your kids' activities becomes your schedule.
Yep, and that's just my son. My daughter, she's doing dance, she's doing gymnastics, she's in tutorials after school twice a week. So we take her to a tutorial place to give her that reinforcement. So it's, they're doing stuff, and then that means I have to do it because somebody has to take them and sit and wait. So the hustle life is real.
Yeah, I get it. And I think we can all relate to that in some form. Even the people that are going through it right now or the people that are just past that phase. And so when I hear those stories, I'm just like, oh, good God. And then I'm like, wait a second, you did that. It was 20 years ago,
but you did it.
You did that. And there is light at the end of that tunnel. And all the things that we're doing for our kids, we think like, oh my goodness, did I really want to sign up for gymnastics? Did I really want to get this tutoring program? And then you're like, it's for the best. But that's not all. So you've got those in your personal life and then the day job. But then I also think you're one of the side hustling queens.
I am always.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
So currently, I present all over to different teachers. I started a business called Overflow Creative. So along the lines of consulting and then going around and equipping teachers with the innovative tools that they need for their students to be successful in the classroom, as well as them. There's so much now going on with technology, such as AI, and so that has been my focus.
Yeah. Tell me about that name. I like that, Overflow Creative.
Yeah, so I'm a very religious person. I grew up in the church. My dad's a pastor. So it comes from Psalms 23rd, the Lord is my shepherd, you know, where it's that part where it says, my cup overfloweth. And so I don't know, that part has always stuck out to me. And when I was writing at a newspaper, I named my column The Overflow. I named my poetry book The Overflow. And so it only made sense that my business name had The Overflow in it.
I love it.
So when God is pouring your cup with all these great things and it begins to overflow, what are you going to do next? Who are you going to help? Who are you going to share those blessings with? And so that's where the overflow part comes from.
That was deep. That was deep. Y'all, I didn't even know she was going to go that deep, but okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. So what we've got here, and I'm going to hold each one up and you tell me a little bit about it. So we've gone through your day job. We've gone through your personal life. And now you've started this side business, but you are an accomplished author as well. So I'm going to hold this up for the camera, but tell me about Teach Away.
So Teach Away is an educator's book. There's different topics in there. So from goal setting to self-care. I have a couple of chapters on AI, so how teachers can immerse AI into their classrooms. Let's see, what else is in there? I just went like, the power of icebreakers is in there. So using icebreakers for alternative use. Let's see, talking about the future, how the future is now. Like technology is no longer a thing of, thousands of years away. It's here.
Avoid it.
We can't avoid it. So all those movies we used to watch, the Terminator and iRobot, this is where we are now.
This is where we are. I totally agree. I want to come back to your point about AI in education. So again, and I'm saying this on camera when brain fog is probably going to make me forget.
Okay.
All right. So in The Overflow, you've talked about that title. Are we expecting similar content in this book?
So that one is strictly poetry. So, I have a writing background and being an English teacher, I love to write and read. And so poetry has always been an escape for me ever since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I still have my journals from like the 3rd grade of just writing poems. And so I look back at it and it's just like, I was in the 3rd grade. What was I thinking at that time?
Yeah. I'm holding this up. I hope that you can see this on the camera, but this is a railroad track with a very fancy teacup sitting in the middle.
Yes. So that teacup is from my mom's fine china cabinet. Don't tell her. But I took that photo myself. So I dabble in and out of photography sometimes, just as a hobby, nothing serious. But again, going back to the overflow and the cup and putting it on the railroad track, like which way are you going to go? So that all ties back into the overflow.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Okay. And then we've got a children's book.
We do. So when I grow up, that's my daughter. She's the character in there. And just watching her grow up to be this sassy, beautiful young girl that she is, seeing her express her different likes and what she wants to do, kids change their mind a million times. So I wanted her to feel inspired. And so I wrote this book for her so that whatever she does want to do, that she feels confident and she can believe in herself to do it. So she's dressed up as different outfits. So like she's dressed up as an astronaut, a baker, the president, like all these different amazing things. And it's also an ABC book. So she was a lot younger at the time when I wrote that one. So, we would practice and, okay, what letter is this? And and she still sees herself. She says, Mommy, it's me.
Oh, I love it. I love, number one, in honor of her, but then just the representation, period. I was one of those people, and I'm still one of those people, younger nieces, nephews. I buy books for Christmas, and it's not that I have anything against the Barbie dolls or whatever, but I figure somebody else is going to go that route. I always look for books that show the representation. So if it is my little black niece, I'm buying a book that has a little black girl on the cover or something like that. And it's just, it's so important, I think, for kids to be able to see themselves. So there is a connection between who I am now, where I can be, and it's not that big of a leap. So don't.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump off that soapbox before I get too deep into it. Okay, so that is excellent. We got caught up with all the accomplishments, but that's kind of where I wanted to talk to you about today because there's a lot of hats there.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, and being a few years removed from that hustle phase, I still have questions because I know my journey and I know the journeys of other women in my circle, you know, how we've done the kid raising, we've done what we could to keep the marriage together, you know, and some of us were successful, some of us, you know, decided to go different routes. But to be able to say, you know, you're doing it well. Am I doing what I want to do? Just juggling all the hats. I kind of wanted to center there. So tell me about how you're prioritizing all of the things and yourself right now.
Ooh, so I'm at the last. I'm very, very last. Whatever listed, I'm at the very, very bottom. Of course, kids in the family, they come first. So making sure that they have everything they need, some of what they want, you know, just a little bit, and then just taking care of them fully. Being a wife, you talked about marriage. That's a journey in itself.
It is. It is.
So I've been married now. My husband and I, we made 11 years. It'll be 11 years for us this year.
Congrats.
Yes, thank you. I joke with him every year. It's like, do I want to renew your contract this year?
I got you.
But you know, marriage has its ups and downs, and it's constant work. The ins, the outs, juggling kids. You know, the kids come in, and it's like a whole new life, and you're trying to figure out who you are. Especially like myself, still trying to figure out who I am after being a mom. Because I know I am a mom to my kids, but I'm more than just their mother.
Yes.
But what does that look like now? So I would say that's one thing that I think I have been struggling with is just trying to figure out who I am post, you know, birth to my kids.
I know. I mean, what does self-care look like right now for you?
Working out for sure. I work out a lot, so that is my escape and has always been my escape. Writing, sometimes trying to get lost in a book, even though it's harder these days to find time. I'm trying to get into audiobooks. I'm an English teacher, and I love to, you know, just to hold and to actually read the book. So I just finished one memoir by Will Smith called Will, and it was a really great memoir, and it was my first time actually listening to the book instead of reading it myself. So listening to books, sitting by water and just thinking about stuff or journaling.
Oh my gosh.
I love to color.
Okay, you said something, and I'm interrupting you.
Yeah.
Again, menopause brain fog, so
It's okay.
just deal with me. But you said being with water. Tell me about it because I've experienced that recently as well. Being near water, being near flowing water is very therapeutic for me. And I don't know what the heck is going on in my brain, but that is a thing now.
It is. It's almost like it just calms you instantly, at least for me.
Yeah.
So whether it's the waterfall, even if it's just a pool or some kind of lake, if I am by water, I'm calm. I feel inspired. I feel like that's where some of my ideas kind of come from. I don't know. That the water just has so much energy.
Hey, well, Dr. Davis-Bibb, I want you to research that and check back with me so I can know what's happening because that is definitely a phenomenon that I'm noticing right now. But I cut you off where you said you were coloring, so tell me about that. The adult coloring.
The
I'm hearing
adult
about
coloring, yes, I love it.
Yeah.
I love creativity. I love making something. And I just bought this devotional that has a coloring aspect to it. And so, like, you'll read the devotion and then you can kind of color and express what you're thinking, you know, in that moment. And so, I don't know, it's another way. It's very therapeutic, has always calmed me. I love to paint too, you know, not professionally or anything, just as a hobby.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very artsy, so to speak.
That's pretty cool because, and I'm glad you're bringing this up because I'm seeing a lot of different sides of you naturally, of course. You know, you've got the career side, you've obviously accomplished a lot, but then the simple things that you're doing every day, which I can't say that during my hustle phase that was something we talked about enough. And I will definitely just, put it out there that there was a whole lot that I think I kept behind closed doors
Yeah.
that were my own struggles because the outward appearance was fine.
Right.
So I can't mess that up. I can't crack that at all.
Yeah.
But then things where there were days where I was just like, holy crap, is this it?
Yeah.
Or there were times even as a parent where I'm just like, I'm messing everything up. I need to go somewhere. My escape was running.
Okay.
And it became it became a little bit of an obsession for a time. So it worked for the time period that it was. But when you mentioned the coloring, I wanted to complement that with something else I've discovered recently is stickers.
Okay.
And somebody is watching this right now and they're like, what is she talking about? I am a journal person, so I keep just regular blank journals that I'm doodling in, making notes in, and then I have my planner, and I've discovered these Black girl stickers.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I love them. I got to put a sticker on every damn thing now.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I'm making notes for what do I need to get done on Tuesday, I'm putting a sticker there because it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy, the little things that are bringing us joy in these different phases.
Mm-hmm. I think because it's more of the simplistic stuff that we don't necessarily have to think so much about. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take much mental energy to color or to create with stickers. We can just relax.
And nobody's going to see it.
And nobody's going to see it.
Yeah.
We don't care about anybody judging us. It just makes us happy in that present moment.
Exactly. And I'm thankful that I'm at a phase right now where I just don't care what anybody else is thinking. I give thanks for that when I walk out the door and I truly have to look down and make sure I don't have my pajama bottom on someday. And if I do, I'm just like, oops, let's go take care of that. But overall, I think I heard someone state that you've hit midlife when you can go out in public as ugly as possible. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, they are right.
Okay.
They are right.
I'm not there yet, but I see myself moving closer and closer to that point.
It's an aspiration. It's an aspiration. So tell me, a little bit more about your self-care routine. And I know right now in my phase, menopause is the monster that I am dealing with. And I shouldn't just characterize it negatively. There's been a lot of positives too, because I'm very in tune with what's happening with my body, with my mind. And the 30-something version of myself was not. I took a lot for granted with my health. But I'm listening to your self-care routine. And are you at that point? Are you unlocking some things that connect between your self-care and your overall health?
A little bit. I think stress has had an impact on some of the health issues that I've had recently. Mm-hmm. So I've had to kind of take a step back and kind of reevaluate, is this worth it? Prioritize with, what needs to happen versus what I want to happen. Because sometimes my needs and my wants, they're totally different sometimes. Yeah. So trying to navigate through that. But I have learned that if you do not listen to yourself will sit you down real quick. I've learned that.
Yeah, say that again, for real.
Yes. So I've had some issues with thyroidism, thyroidism runs in my family. Mm-hmm. So starting to see some issues with that. And just being tired a lot, not getting enough rest. I maybe on average get 5 to 6 hours of sleep.
I'm clutching my pearls.
Yes.
We go to bed at 9:30.
I wish. What does that feel like? Tell me.
It's fantastic. But again, I don't have kids to bathe. I don't have stories to read. It's just me.
And it's let's say it's 9:30, 10 o'clock, and you need to go to bed, but when can I watch my show? When can I, just digress from the day? Mm-hmm. And it just happens at night. Or it's when do I get to work on something for my business or the blog, or when can I contribute to my new book? It's usually at night.
Makes sense. That makes sense. Ooh, okay.
Yep. Oh, and then I teach part-time too for Southern New Hampshire University. So there's that too.
Okay. This resume is becoming 2 miles long.
It's extensive. I'm grateful, but it's exhausting too.
Yeah. And with all that you're doing, I mean, is it conscious to take on these things? I mean, I have a quote that I say, the things you regret in life are the things you didn't do. Mm-hmm. And I'm listening to you, and it sounds like you're going after all of it right now. So Is that intentional? Are you thinking this way right now?
I would say a little bit of both. There are some opportunities that come to me that it's just I can't say no because this opportunity may not come up again.
It's true.
And so I can do it, and then if I like it, continue to do it. If I don't, I can reevaluate or step aside and focus on something else. So sometimes it's me, sometimes it's just other opportunities where I have to take it. I will say that sometimes I do have a hard time saying no. And I'm learning more and more that it's okay to say no.
Does that have to do with your schedule being so full, or is it just boundaries, or both?
I would say a little bit of both.
Okay.
My schedule being full, and if I keep taking on stuff, I'm not going to be effective. And I don't want to do anything if I can't give it my all and be effective with it. Because I think once you start taking on too much, then that's where you kind of, you're getting tired. You slack off. You may not pay attention to detail like you usually do, things of that nature. But also, boundaries too. Learning that with family and friends, and you want to support everyone. You want to be at every party. You want to be at every event. But in reality, you can't, because sometimes I have to spend time with my family, or I just want to sit in bed and do nothing, or stare at the wall and do nothing.
That's my statement. Sometimes I just want to sit and stare at the wall.
Yeah.
Literally, I will sit and just breathe and enjoy the quiet. And I can't say that I appreciated that. I keep going back to this about, my past, and I'm hearing, things with you. I mean, we literally have a 20-year difference in our ages. So I'm thinking of who I was at that point. But then I'm also thinking about you, fast forward to this age range, I'm in my soft life. I mean, girl. So I'm listening to, like I said, the hustle phase, and then this phase too. So jump forward 20 years and think about what you want to have accomplished. By then, the babies are probably going to be way down their own journey.
That's scary to think about. It's scary to think about. It's like, who will they be, for one? Will they, first of all, will we have done a good job, or did we mess them up? That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Are they pursuing something that they love to do? Because I try to express that with my kids. Well, when they ask if they want to do something, yes, you can do it if that's what you want to do. If you don't like it, then we try something else. I don't want them to feel like they have to be restricted to something that myself or my husband loves or want them to do, but for them to explore their own. Yeah. But I'm hoping they're happy, they're sufficient, and they're good human beings. That's all I want. I just want them to be good human beings. Yeah. Give to society, help those in need, and do the best you can.
I hear that, and you're living that by pursuing multiple passions. So they have you as an example. But even yourself, what does success look like for you once you hit mid-50s?
Mid-50s. So in 20 years, I will be 54. I'm hoping I'll be a year from retirement, because 55 is my number. Yeah. So let's say that. We're going to speak that into existence, whatever that looks like.
You got it. I believe it.
Gosh, that's a deep question.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
And maybe you don't have to have it all figured out, because if you were somebody that had followed a very narrow path, then I could understand you having that very definitive, mark somewhere along your timeline. But because you've done so many different things, you followed a very structured education career, you've done what I would say is a bucket list, and maybe because it's my bucket list, I want to get a book out there. So this is a big deal to me. You've done this part, you've got the personal commitments or whatever. So you probably are going to be at that age, mid-50s, and I imagine that you're going to have so many more creative ways to express yourself and impact society. So it doesn't bother me that it's not clear to you right now.
Yeah, I see that structured pathway, because, I'm a professor now, but I'm on track to eventually be a department chair eventually be a dean. That's the goal right now. I just finished our I Want to Be a Dean Academy, which was really great. It was great insight into the day-to-day roles of what a dean does on a daily basis. But it also gave me insight on, is this really what I want to do?
Oh, girl, we could go there. So
That's a different lifestyle.
you just told me something I didn't know. There's a Dean Academy?
Through Lone Star, yes. So our new
Okay.
chancellor, we have a new chancellor. This is he's maybe about a year. This is maybe his second year. He hasn't been chancellor long, but he wanted to create an academy for those who aspire to be deans. And so I was part of that original cohort, which I'm really grateful for. And it was interesting. It was a 6-month program. They brought different deans across the system to speak with us, and we talked about different articles, different. We had a book study as well. Got to ask many questions to the deans that came on. We were even paired with a mentor that's a dean.
That's awesome.
So I've been connecting with her, and we still touch bases even though the academy is over. But it was really great, and so it's made me think like, hey, is this something that I really want?
Yeah. And you said you're kind of questioning that, or?
Yeah, well, because you don't know what you don't know, right? And sometimes you won't know until you're in it. But having the chance to really hear their experiences, like all the meetings and all the emails and all the things that they have to do, and then having small kids, even though they won't be small always, I don't know. It just makes you think, like, is this the path that I want to continue on?
Right.
Or does my heart align with another path?
Yeah. I mean, speaking from experience, I went through a similar, little bit of a touch point where I was able to have a peek into what I thought was my career goal. And, in education, I said this all the time, that I feel like it's a very narrow path. You basically start out teaching, whether it's in high ed or I was K-12, and the way up is just to have those specific leadership roles where you're over that teaching community of some kind, and you just keep going. And I thought that I wanted the ultimate job, to be a superintendent. Yeah. And got a peek into a lot of that and realized, I don't know, because it felt very finite to me. And I felt like once I got to that point, there would not, and it goes against everything that I'm all about, that once I got to that point, there'd be no way to pivot. And to me, that would have been a prison. And so I hear what you're saying, and immediately I'm like, yeah, girl, keep pushing, keep, digging, peeling, scraping behind, just to understand. And even if you do, let's just say you get there and it's like, miss it, I don't feel this vibe. You got plenty of opportunities to do something different. But I'm listening to you, and it's, good God, it's like somebody's rolling the film, the highlight reel of your life.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I get it. But even with that, I'm thinking about, where you are right now. You've got young kids, you've got a flourishing career in a lot of different areas. But, how do you feel the balance, or how do you force the balance?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I've really been asking myself lately, does that balance even exist?
Real talk.
Because sometimes I don't think it does. Okay. Or is the balance, is it what we make it? I don't know. But for someone like myself who's always on the grind, on the hustle, for me, I don't think it is. I mean, those late nights are going to be there. Those early mornings are going to be there. All the kid stuffs are going to be there. I mean, even if I take a few things off of my plates, I'm pretty sure something would get either added back on, or somebody else will put something on that
free time.
What is that?
Sign up for this thing.
And that's how I felt when I got my doctoral degree. When I finished, it was just like, okay, I should be doing something.
Yes. Yeah.
Something has to get done. But yeah, I don't know if a balance exists. Maybe if I was, going to work, coming home, and that was it, sure, maybe. I don't know. But with the lifestyle that I have right now, I don't think a balance exists for me.
That's honest. That is honest. And it's all seasons, and I will preach that till the cows come home. That you've got right now, where you're focused and you and your husband, you're hyper focused on the kids and their well-being and all the decisions that flow from that. And then as they get more independent, and yeah, I've experienced this, a lot of the folks that are watching this right now, the kids get more independent and they get a life beyond you. They're influenced beyond what you and your husband are hoping to bring to them. And eventually there'll be those times where it's like, okay, no, I'm not coming home for dinner. No, I'm not going to be with you and dad this weekend. Or can I, fill in the blank. And you suddenly start thinking like, okay, everything was for them and now they're doing something else. And I'm knocking things over while I'm saying that. And so it shifts. It's temporary. And so I think, again, thinking about, your plate and how everything is very full, and to say that maybe there's not a balance yet.
Yeah.
It will shift, but right now I'm okay. Well, are you okay? Maybe I'm putting words in your mouth.
What day is it?
What day and what time is it?
What
My
day,
answer
what
can
time?
change.
It could change. Right now I'm okay. But
Yeah.
Monday, yeah.
We could be having this talk in a very different way.
Absolutely. But I've just learned to do the best I can.
Yeah.
Maybe like a couple of years ago, I would be panicking. This didn't go right, or this needs to be this way, or this. It's okay.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, everybody's alive. Everybody is fed.
Thank you.
The walls are still up. We have a roof over our head. We're good.
I'm glad you said that, because that is a message I hope people are hearing. It's okay. And as Black women in particular, I want to drive that message home over and over again, that there is a standard that I think we have superseded just in our very existence. Just by being alive, we are always just going beyond what is expected. We have shown strength, we've shown care, we've taken care of everybody. And there is a new mindset for me, especially right now in this country. Some things have shifted. And taking a moment to really look inward for all of us, I think is so important.
Yeah.
And I think about, like right now, you say, hey, it depends on the day, depends on,
Yeah.
what's going on. I might be okay or I might not. But to be able to say that out loud, you are literally saying it out loud for the universe to hear.
Yeah.
That's
It took a while to
important.
get here, though. It took a while to get to this point. Because
Yeah.
you're in our community, we're told to keep it under wraps. No, we don't do counseling. We don't. And I'm thankful that my mom had a background in counseling. So she has always been open to that and say, hey, if you need to talk to somebody, go talk to someone. If it's not me, go find someone.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for that. But that our community, we don't usually do those kind of things.
Yeah.
We kind of sweep things under the rug. Hopefully it'll work itself out, or it just, nobody talks about it anymore.
Yeah, go pray about it. Yeah.
And prayer is great. But I still think there has to be the work behind that prayer. And that's reevaluating yourself, maybe the people around you, reaching out to a therapist, whatever help you need.
Yeah.
Prayer goes so far, but you got to have that other part with it.
Oh, girl. Yeah, there's so much that can be said about that. And I'm glad you mentioned, that you come from a family that believes in counseling, very much rooted in counseling, because I feel like the message gets cut off sometimes when we say, hey, go pray about it. Yeah, cool, show up at church, because I see church, number one, it is spiritual, but I feel like at the core, it's community.
Absolutely.
There are people there that are coming, that are actively looking for that inspiration, looking to receive that message. And while I'm at it, hey girl, how you doing? Hey, you looking good. Hey, can we talk later? That's all a part of the whole big picture. And when there is trouble, to be able to say it out loud, hey, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
And in this day and age, we are aware of the tools to go out and make, a little bit of progress, to work a little bit on ourselves. That's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Ooh. Yeah. I just want everybody to hear that. It is something. It used to feel like an either or. Well, I go to church, so I'm okay. No.
No, there's more. There's more to it. That's great.
That's good.
There's a lot more to it. Yeah, it's very important that they find their people, their village, their people that they can lean on, or that'll make them laugh. make them forget about things in that moment,
Love it.
you know? So
All of it. All of it, girl. Ooh, yeah. And tell me a little bit just with you personally, because I know that right now, you've got all the things going on, but your own community, you mentioned being, from a church background, number one, your parents, and then with you cultivating your community. Tell me about how that plays a role in supporting you as a very accomplished person, but also with a young family.
yeah, so my family is, I got to give it to them because they help out a lot, especially my husband. I have to give him his flowers where they're due. He helps a lot. If there's somewhere I need to be, just tell me what you need me to do. Like,
That's beautiful.
and on the go a lot, doing this, presenting here, flying out of town. Having him there to support me means so much because I wouldn't be able to do half of what I do now without his help. My mom, she's been taking care of my dad. She's been his primary caretaker because he had some health things happen. So I try not to bother her too much, but she will still fill in where she can.
Yeah.
And before that, she'll take the kids, and I have a great family support.
It's necessary.
Friends too, my cousins, they will step in. My kids' godmother and father, like everybody, like they'll help if I need it, and I'm not afraid to say, "Hey, I need your help," or "Hey, what you doing next weekend?"
Yeah.
So yes, that support is it's important. It's very important to have.
And I think even right now, in the post-COVID era where we're working from home, I'm one of those people. I make a living inside my home with ratty T-shirts on and yoga pants most days.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah. But there's not that elbow partner for me to just go to lunch with or have those conversations about things. So I can do that now as somebody that's in midlife, in 50s, that's had that kind of career where, I show up and drive somewhere every day. But for younger people that are coming up in the workforce that are in those remote work positions and they've never had a workplace environment, they've never developed that kind of in-person camaraderie.
Yeah.
I mean, are you hearing that a lot with
Yes,
folks?
I will say we were in COVID. Let's see. Let me backtrack. When COVID hit, we had to go online, and we were online probably for almost 2 years. Some people even longer. I was one of the people that came back a little bit sooner. I needed to get out the house. I was like, I will take my chances. I'll wear 5 masks. Get me out this house. And I had my son during COVID. So that's like a whole nother story too, going to doctor's appointments alone and all of that. So yeah, we can circle back to that.
Yeah.
But I saw a difference in the students and how they were when they first came back. A lot of them were used to being isolated. So being back in a classroom with peers, it was terrifying for them. I had one student, I remember her to this day. It's been a few years now, but she would always tell me, I have an anxiety about being here. Like, I have great anxiety about being here. And I said, well, just do what you can. If you get overwhelmed, take a break. Like, just go walk, things of that nature. And we're kind of back. We're seeing a new normal now. Students are kind of back to how they are, but there is still some kind of social isolation that heightened during COVID. And I don't know if that will change. I don't know if that's just the way things are now. But yeah, I mean, and a lot of our enrollment is mainly online. I would say that's our highest enrollment, especially during the summer. A lot of students love online learning. So I don't know. I don't know if that's just a preference or it's just the accessibility of online learning. I was an online learner. I wish my undergrad would have had more online options at that time. But like my doctoral degree was fully online. My master's for my English stuff was fully online. Some students learn better that way.
Yeah, and I agree that I think there's been a big difference. And I'm saying all this, there's no way that I'm bashing online at all. I design online learning. That's part of my job. But I feel like there are some things that our younger people are missing because of the in-person human connection. The isolation, it is convenient. I think it's very efficient in some cases, but my heart breaks for people that are not comfortable with in-person engagements right now. I think that there's a lot to be said there. But
It
something.
is.
Oh, and I'm sorry. Did I cut you off?
Oh no, it's okay. I was just saying, yeah, there is a lot to say about that, and I don't know what the workforce will continue to look like as technology evolves, because you're seeing now AI doing a lot of things, whereas a person would have done that.
Yeah.
So I've told people, I went to the doctor one time. There was like a medical scribe in there who was taking all the notes and capturing everything the doctor was saying. Now you go in there, it's like, okay, let me turn this on because now we have this AI that's going to take the notes and everything that person did. So where's that person? Did they lose their job? Did they have to be reassigned?
So true.
So I don't know what the future looks like for our young people, even for myself. When there's predictions saying that teachers may be out of the classroom and out of jobs with AI now developing. So who knows? It could be anyone now.
But that's part of your mission right now is helping educators and rather just in general, all of us prepare for what's happening with AI. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I use AI in my classrooms. I allow my students to use it. It's a great resource if it's being used appropriately and ethically, not just, copy and paste. But for instance, let's talk about, let's say, the writing process. So with brainstorming, I always tell them, hey, start with what you know first. What ideas can you get out yourself? Then start consulting AI and say, hey, can you give me some key points or some ideas regarding this topic? All right, now let's take those ideas, blend them in with your ideas, pull out what you want. Now let's start crafting an outline. And they can use AI to help make that outline and customize it based on how they see fit, or they can just do it, themselves and not have to use that AI portion for the outline. And then once they start writing their draft, I tell them, okay, so let's take the rubric, let's put it in AI. Let's take your essay, put it in AI, and say, hey, can you give me feedback using this rubric to assist me on my essay? So then they take that feedback from AI, and now they start doing the revising and editing process. And so I make my students, they have to show proof of their edits and their revisions. So whether they want to use Google Docs or just Microsoft Word, what did you revise? How did you revise it? So it's more so analyzing that process now. And it's been interesting. You have some students who really use it and they feel like it's great. And then you have some that, of course, that are abusing it. And I don't know if it'll catch up with them in the long run or not, but eventually you're going to have to show that you know your stuff, So it's been an interesting journey. And I love AI. I'm a fan of it. But my boundaries stop at like generative AI, like all the robots and stuff. Like I leave that to other people.
Right.
I'm just generative AI, how students can use it.
But even with that, and I don't know how many educators are watching this, but I will clue them in that in the education space, the English teachers are who we talk about as being the purest. Like the way English teachers have taught has kind of been the same for a very long time. And, if I were to say of all the different groups, that would be the last to embrace AI, it would be the English teachers. So you sitting here as an example of where this is going, you are pushing against the norm. You number one, because you're embracing AI in general. Most of us, not us, but most people, I think, are still on the fringe, trying to, understand what's possible or what should I be afraid of, what can I start dabbling in. But to say that you're embracing it and you're dealing with young adults that are very much tomorrow going out into the workforce. So, I mean, where do you see this really going overall?
Honestly, I don't know, but I know it's just going to continue to evolve and become greater and greater. AI is going to get smarter and smarter because we have jobs that specifically, that's all they do all day is they train the chatbots and they feed them information. So I don't know. It's kind of scary to think about in a sense, though, because it's like this could go a million different ways.
That's very true.
But it has caused a dramatic division between faculty and teachers. You have some that are like totally against it. They're old school and they have traditional pedagogical methods, which are still great. Don't get me wrong. And then you have some that are kind of in the middle. Well, maybe, maybe not. And then you have people like me that's like, oh, let's try it. Let's embrace it. See what happens.
What is there to be scared of?
Yeah.
Let's try this. Let's kick the tires.
Exactly. And I've had people tell me, you're encouraging plagiarism. You're running education. Like, I've had comments like that. And I'm like, okay, I don't think me, myself, is running education. But I also see a need for it because many jobs now will probably have some form of AI embedded into it. Whether it's their project management system, I don't know. The sky's the limit. But students will have to have some basic knowledge entering the workforce.
So with you being a published author, I'm pretty sure you got about 10, 12 more books in you. So is this changing how you have produced previous books versus what you're going to be doing for future?
It hasn't changed for me. I will consult AI for any ideas, things of that nature, but I still take great pride in my work and producing it myself. So like the Teach Away book there, all of that was written by myself. I don't know. I still have that pride and joy about writing. So
it shows. It shows.
But for someone else, it could open up the doors for them to pursue writing. And they may not have been good or strong writers. So it has opened a lot of opportunities for different people to publish and, to go the publishing route.
Yeah. And I'm even wondering just with, the people that you say, the divisions that are in education, because it's very true that it's a topic that is really like going into the lion's den and be like, hey, everybody who's using AI in some type of faculty event where you're coming together and planning, you can see the folks lining up along those, with it or without it type of boundary. Yeah. So for what you're noticing with folks my age, the ones that have been in education 30 years or so, pretty much their entire career, what message do you want to send to them about what they can be changing right now as far as AI's impact in education is?
I would say there needs to be some kind of mental shift, and to not be so afraid of change. And I'm not saying go in and redo all of your curriculum, change all your syllabi and all of this. It could be simple as just you exploring AI yourself first before you step into the classroom with it. But just giving it a chance and seeing what comes out of it for you. So just not completely shutting it down, but just being a little bit more open-minded about it. Have reservations. I mean, I still have reservations. We know that a lot of stuff that may be generated, you need to fact check. And that's one thing that I teach my students. Don't just believe the information is true. You need to question it and then do your own research on the side and see if that's something that you want to use. And I think that's another message that teachers need to, give to their students. And I would say if your students are using it, you need to use it. Yeah. So you can know what they're using.
Because they are using it.
What outcomes they're getting from it. What information it spits out. I mean, you just want to be informed yourself. So even if they don't integrate it in their classrooms, that's fine. But still be on the up and up, for lack of better words, to know what's going on.
That's a good point to make. Even if you're not bringing it into your classroom, you still need to be dabbling in it.
Yes, absolutely.
And I remember, I'll give everybody an example just for myself, because I use generative AI truly as a creative editor, so to speak. And like you say, I'm feeding it my words. I'm feeding it what I've thought up already. And then I'm saying, hey, break this down for me, and where are some blind spots? One in particular where I have done this many a times, because in this phase, I don't cook a lot anymore. And I think you might know where this is going. You get that, whatever time you open up that refrigerator and you're just like, ooh, I got eggs, I got this, and truly have just a handful of things. I'm going to ChatGPT and I'm saying, this is what's in my refrigerator. What can I create out of this? And it's giving me a couple of options within seconds. And done the same thing with grocery apps. So we'll go to certain things and say, okay, I want to be able to have a meal plan for the next 5 days. Tell me what my grocery list should be, you know.
Perfect for that.
And it's done. And, you know, these are just different ways that I know that as an old person, it's helping me because I don't want to work no more. You know?
I mean, it can do those little trivial tasks for you that you don't have to put so much energy into it anymore. And then to go off of what you're saying about the recipes, my household, I'm dairy and gluten free. My husband can't do fish. So like trying to find foods for us, it's complicated, but I have put it in AI. Like, this is what we're allergic to. Can you generate meal plans based on this information? And it'll help with anything, project management. So I received a research grant. I applied for a research grant and I got it. And I did a study. Of
course you got it.
And I did a study on AI. So I interviewed students because I wanted to capture their perceptions regarding AI usage for their learning and how it's impacting their learning experience. And wait, hold on. I just lost my thought. Where was I going with this? Oh no.
Now, see, I got menopause to blame for my brain fog. Yours might be because your brain is at full capacity.
It could be at full capacity. Do you know where I was going?
You're going somewhere, but that's okay.
It's like, what were we talking? What were we just talking about?
About AI recipes. Girl, we are having a moment live on camera.
Moments. I have officially made it, y'all. I have made it to the other side.
It's okay. Hey, but you had a research grant.
I had a research grant, but I was studying their perceptions, but there was a point to be made, but I don't even know what that point was anymore.
Okay, but I'll just say congrats on the research grant.
Thank you.
This is probably going to lead to another book. It's probably going to lead to another production. Chelsea's going to have a podcast where she's going to go, remember that time?
I know, right? Look, am I red? The camera's probably seeing.
Hey, it can't be. I haven't had a hot flash so far while we've been talking. That's an accomplishment.
Speaking of hot flashes, I am potentially perimenopausal. So going through that process. Yeah, imagine that. Yeah.
Oh, what questions do you have? I can go on and on.
Why does it get hot randomly?
Very well. Oh, see, and I always joke, my medical degree is from Grey's Anatomy, so this is going to be all jacked up. But I know that it has everything to do with you losing your hormones. That's basically menopause. Even though the menopause means that you are no longer going to have a monthly menstrual cycle,
right?
But ultimately, everything is caused by the estrogen loss in your body. Now, I hope that there's somebody that's watching this right now. Please fact check me and put that in the comments and make sure that everyone watching gets the correct information. But I'm definitely self-educating at this point. I do know that the hot flashes is probably the most visible of your symptoms. But like just now, we were talking and you were like, oh, I forgot what I was saying.
I have been doing a lot of that lately, like just brain fog. Like, where was I going with this?
You're going to self-diagnose yourself with a brain tumor and you're going to think, oh my God, this is the moment where I just start going into early dementia. It really is all a part of the menopause journey. And
great.
It
keeps getting better.
It gets better. However, I will say that my most embarrassing moments have happened due to menopause symptoms, the sweat pooling in very unattractive areas, being on a podcast and forgetting what I'm saying. Yeah, the hot flashes, which people have watched some of my episodes and they've seen the hot flashes happen in real time. And I will say, in the background, got my producer that will not let me turn on my fan while we're recording because, that noise, we can't have that. And I'm like, screw that.
Got to keep the audio consistent. I understand.
You got to keep the audio. But one of these days, I'm going to just turn that sucker on. But that's all a part of it. But I'm glad you said that out loud because too many women start experiencing some very subtle symptoms early and will assume that it can just be brushed off.
Right. Yeah, especially blaming it on childbirth and your body just changing and it'll all balance out. Yeah, well, that was like 4 years ago. My son's 4.
I tell people this is all baby fat. How old is your baby? 20.
Exactly. But my mom, she said she started early menopausal at 37.
Did she know at that time?
So the doctor said if your mom had it at such a young age, most likely you're going to have it. So apparently I'm just a little early. I arrived early to the party.
Okay. Overachiever.
You know?
I got to be first and the best. I get it. Well, let me kind of round this out for you, because I really could keep going and just talking, because I feel like there's so many layers to your story personally, but then also the commonality of this journey of being the career woman, the mother, the wife, all of the other things that we want to check off in life's bingo card.
Yeah.
But I do want to give you a moment to just kind of speak directly to the people that are watching this, because, and I've told you this, and this is in real time, that the people that are watching used to be very narrow. It was folks that were exactly my age, that were going through some things, that were questioning what's next in life. But that audience has expanded. Then also with the research that you're doing with AI in education, we definitely need to continue to pick at that. It's going to be,
Absolutely.
It's going to look totally different in a year.
Will.
So
It will.
there's more to learn there. But more than anything, I will say to folks that are watching that, number one, I want them to go to your website. So tell them where they can find out more information about you and working with you.
So you can go to www.overflow-creative.com or email info@overflow-creative.com.
And the people that want to work with you could be in education, but they could also not be in education.
Absolutely. Either or. If they have a business and they're trying to figure out a way to leverage AI to, I don't know, make their system more effective or things of that nature. I mean, I've worked with different people, not just in education.
Can they buy the books at your website?
Yes, they can. All three of those are on my website. And I do have to write another kid's book because I have a son. So he's going to be like, well, Mommy, where's my book? So I have to write him a book.
We got the Black Girl Magic, and then we need the Black Boy Joy.
Exactly.
So, there we go. I'm excited to see that happen. So next book, we'll invite you back, and we'll talk a little bit further about all the things that you've accomplished, because the evolution, the choice to pivot, I think you are the embodiment of that. So even though a lot of women that are my age are just learning that lesson, they can look at the younger version and say, oh, yeah, okay, it is possible. I can do that thing. So
Absolutely.
Thank you for representing for all of those multi-hyphenate folks that are out there. They know that, yes, it's okay to be that person.
Yeah. Thank you. And thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course.
And it was good seeing you after all these years.
All these months of trying to make it happen. All right, folks, so I will put all of Chelsea's information in the show notes so that you can go to her website, take advantage of her books, or even work directly with her. I definitely want you to be in the presence of this young person because she got all that going on. But until next time, I want you to leave some comments so that if there is anything that resonated with you in this episode, we want to keep the conversation going. But more than anything, thank you for being here. And as always, we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.